Dave is back at it, here to give everyone another Walking Dead Season 11 episode review video. Before I get into that, though, really important, I was able to watch this episode a week early on AMC+, so if you're not caught up to the point where I am in rewatching or watching The Walking Dead, or you're just not entirely sure, then you definitely need to take the initiative and pay attention to the episode title, which of course I'll say as well as put in the description for you. If that happens to be the case and you're not caught up, it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this video any further just to avoid any potential spoilers. And real quick before the recap, if you're a fan of Walking Dead and you love this series and enjoy this recap, go ahead and smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in listening or watching this, go ahead and share the video with them. Sound off in the comment section about your thoughts. What would you score this episode? What would be your favorite moment of the episode? Or who would be your spotlight character of the episode? And last but certainly not least, I want to grow this channel. So don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. This will be The Walking Dead Season 11 episode number 4. Title of this episode is called Rendition. This will be my review, reaction, recap after just finishing watching the episode. So we start off just like we did last week with Maggie. Daryl and Dog get away from the main area of chaos where the Reapers had attacked. And eventually Daryl gets into an encounter with a Reaper, a one-on-one encounter where it's kind of like a hand-to-hand combat sort of thing. And it's kind of back and forth. At one point, the Reaper does a really cool wrestling move, which I can't remember what the hell it's called. I should know this because I've been a wrestling fan for years until recently. But that was pretty cool. And then eventually, Dog decides to intervene and bites the Reaper character on the left thigh and doesn't let go. And then the Reaper grabs and throws Dog either down a hill into the woods or just into the woods. It was kind of tough to tell, but that's why Dog yelps in the trailer. That's what that's from. And then 2 other Reapers show up, one of whom looks very familiar even with the getup and the mask on. So they start throwing knives at Daryl. But the one Reaper that looks vaguely familiar puts the arm in the way like to stop, and then Daryl gets away. And then the next day, Daryl is looking for Dog. He hasn't found him yet, and then he hears Dog bark, so he goes to investigate, and then he sees that Dog is standing next to this Reaper that, even with the getup on, looks familiar. So Daryl pulls his knife out and says, "Let him go." And then the Reaper takes their mask off, and of course it's Leah. There were rumors that Leah was going to be in this season, but it was pretty obvious. And if you don't know who Leah is, Leah was in the bonus episodes of The Walking Dead Season 10. She was in Season 10, Episode 18. I think that, I don't remember, the episode was called Find Me? Maybe? That might not be right, but she was in Season 10, Episode 18. She had the cabin in the woods, and then Daryl went back, and she was gone. But her dog was her dog, and she's the one that actually named Dog. So there's that. So, bear with me a second here. I'm forgetting what happened next. So Daryl, they talk for a minute. Daryl says she asks if he had found his family, and Daryl says no, he's alone. He met up with a group, and he's been traveling with them for a couple days, but other than that, that's it. And he motions Dog to come on, let's go. And Dog doesn't budge. He doesn't want to he's not tied up, or he doesn't want to leave Leah's side, obviously, because Leah is his owner that he hasn't seen. And I don't know how much time has passed from the cabin in the woods versus now. It may have only been a few months, but certainly Leah has been missed by Dog. So then all of a sudden, a couple other Reapers, as we know them by Maggie, show up, and Daryl's kind of cornered and surrounded by them. And the next thing we see, Daryl has a sack over his head, and he's been taken to what we think is Meridian, the place that Maggie was at, that the Reapers had taken over. And Leah says that the Reapers, or that her group is her family, and that they never stopped looking for her. So apparently this has been their thing all along. They were apparently like special ops in Afghanistan or something like that. And Daryl says he's alone again. He reiterates that. And then when Leah asks about his family, he mentions that. And then Leah says to Daryl, he's filthy. So she starts to clean him off and put a wash rag in what we think is water, wipes off his cheeks and that, and then goes behind him and then puts the wash rag in his face. I don't know if that was something to make him pass out or if that was just the water. Might have had something else on it. But the next thing we see, Daryl's on like a teeter-totter sort of thing, being tortured. He's being waterboarded. They're trying to get as much information out of Daryl as they can because they don't think he's told them everything yet, which of course is the case. And then after all that, when Daryl's like, I don't know anything else, I've already told you, Daryl is put in a cell, and then his cellmate right on the other side of him, or in front of him, I should say, is what I think, or whom I think is Frost, who was in Maggie's group and introduced in the season 11 premiere. I'm not 100% sure if that's the case, but I'm pretty sure that is Frost. So Frost starts talking to Daryl and asking Daryl stuff, and Daryl says that he doesn't give a crap about him, and he didn't even really want to meet them on the road and not to talk to him anymore. And Frost seems to understand that Daryl is just trying to not give the Reapers any intel about their whole group situation, I think. Or he's just a fucking idiot and doesn't understand that shit. And then some members of Leah's group say that a few members have returned. So they go to see that. And then we see one of the members crying to Pope. And another member is on a cot with a priest over that member saying a prayer. And that the member is dead that's on the cot. And Leah seems to be very upset about this member. And apparently the member's name is Turner, I believe. So then their leader that was talking to this other member that was crying, his name is Pope. And he starts freaking out like scary, like, I don't know. It's just weird. This Pope character is interesting. If you don't know who Pope is, if you've ever watched The Dark Knight, when the scene with all the money piled up in the room and the Joker is like, I wouldn't know what to do with it. And then you have that one guy that's guard dogs, and that's the guy that plays Pope, and he does a really good job of like showing some craziness in his facial expressions. But anyway, that's kind of enough about that particular scene. But he's freaking out about this character's death. So then Leah goes over to Daryl, well, she goes in the room where the cell is and starts pouting to Daryl about what's going on. And then Daryl decides to give Leah some info. Says that a woman's the leader of the group that he's traveling with, as well as this tall, skinny guy, plus a priest. So talking about, obviously, Maggie, Negan, and Father Gabriel. And then Daryl is about to meet Pope, and Leah is taking off his restraints because he's in a chair, tied to a chair. And then as she gets the restraints off, the rope, someone puts some lighter fluid under the door and lights the shed or cabin that they're in on fire. So Daryl saves the day and breaks some of the wall apart with Leah's help a little bit. She points to where he needs to go. And as they climb out a window, they're both on the ground. Then you see all the members of this group standing there like that was his initiation or something like that. I don't know. It's kind of weird. So then Pope is kind of talking to Daryl about their special ops team and their Afghanistan stuff and some politics, and it was a lot of dialogue in a row, and I was kind of getting bored by it, I must admit. And then he tells Daryl that they are the chosen ones because they survived some fire in a church when they were where they were staying at before. And then he asks Daryl if he's hungry. So then we go outside where all the members of this group, or some of the members at least, are by a fire. Some of them are eating. And Pope starts asking the member that apparently brought the dead member back to the Meridian, like, oh, how did you carry this guy back? It was apparently his brother, and he's very concerned about that. And the character seems like he's kind of lying about it, possibly, maybe not. Maybe he's just freaked out by this Pope character, because this Pope character he's a little strange and whatnot. Now, Daryl actually hasn't got any food yet. Then Pope says some more dialogue to Daryl, and Leah looks a little like annoyed, so she tells Pope to leave this guy alone before him talking to Daryl again. Like, just leave him alone, forget about it. And then he says to always watch your back or something like that to Daryl, and then Daryl grabs this character and puts him face first in the fire and won't let him get up. And that's essentially how the episode ends. So, I mean, I don't know. I would prefer more Negan and Maggie stuff. I mean, I know a lot of you like Daryl. I don't want to see a Daryl focused episode or a Daryl Carol focused episode. It would have been nice if we had more of a variety of characters in this particular episode. With that being said, though, this Pope character is fucking insane. Now, seeing this group, seeing them all together and seeing them without their freaky masks on, they're a little bit less intimidating. Like, they all seem like a kind of, well, some of them seem like kind of bitches to a certain degree and they're just following orders, except this Pope character who seems psychotic. He's like a Negan that talks a lot, has a lot of dialogue, and he's a little boring though, but he's crazy. So I don't know. As far as the score of this episode, it was nice to see Leah again, and the stuff with Daryl and the one-on-one encounter with the Reaper, or I don't know what they call themselves, but obviously Maggie has deemed them Reapers. Maybe they call themselves something else, like special ops that were in Afghanistan or something like that. But the one-on-one fight was pretty cool. But the torture stuff was interesting, but we've seen that stuff before in The Walking Dead. But then the second half of the episode was a lot of Pope yap. Like, he did a lot of talking, like continuous dialogue. So as far as the score of this episode, I'm going to give it an 8.0 out of 10. Maybe that's a little low for some of you, but I just felt like it was a little slow, which we need slow episodes sometimes, but there's a lot of boring dialogue. And I think a lot of people are going to agree with me on that. And then as far as a character of the episode or spotlight character of the episode, a lot of you would say Daryl, and I'm right there with you, but I'm going to give it to Pope, because Pope just, I mean, we learned a lot about him, or we heard a lot from him in this episode, where typically, other than Negan, we don't hear this much from a new character that's being introduced. So you've heard what I have to say. Of course, now it's your turn. Remember, I want to grow the channel, especially with Walking Dead content. So if you're a Walking Dead fan and you like this review and you watch the whole thing, make sure you smash that like button. If you know anybody that would be interested in this review, go ahead and share it with them. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about your thoughts on the episode. What would you score the episode? What would be your favorite moment of the episode? My favorite moment was that one-on-one fight and that wrestling move that the guy did, which I can't believe I can't remember what that's called. And who would you pick as your spotlight character? And then, of course, last but certainly not least, definitely want to grow the channel. So don't forget to hit that sub button, subscribe to the channel, join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And JDev will return.